Hello, everyone. This is Professor Shihabi, the physics course instructor. The purpose of this video is to help you start the course by going over the course design and addressing the class structure, class schedule, deadlines, and the type of assignments you'll be submitting throughout this class. And hopefully we'll address some of the expectations. I hope you'll find it educational.
This is the layout of our class on Blackboard. It is composed of several modules. All those modules are in the content area, which is the default area when you log into our class on Blackboard. Now, if we briefly explore some of those modules, you have the Start Here area. To open the module, you can just click on it. And inside the Start Here module, you'll see the syllabus, the calendar, how to study document, the faculty profile, how to contact me, and so on. And you can close the module by simply clicking on its title. So I'll click on the title here and it's closed. Then we have the Mastering Physics, where you'll have the homework, assignments. Then you have the weeks module. So weeks 1 and 2 are inside this module. If you click on it, it will open the readings and the videos pertinent to week 1 and 2. First, you have criteria for success, basic math skills. Also, you have conceptual videos and lecture materials. Now, the difference between those conceptual videos are videos that prepare you for the chapter. I suggest you go through them quickly if you have good background in physics and math. However, if you have a weak background in physics and math, you might need to take some time exploring them. But in general, don't spend much time, like more than 3 to 4 hours, of course, depending on your background. What is more important for the exams and homework is the lecture materials. This is the part where you have to go over. It also includes videos and video solution. And here I would suggest strongly that you read the problem first before you watch the solution. Also, you have conceptual questions and answers, which is important for multiple choice questions in the exams. And I have here an optional MCAT question. This is optional. If you plan to apply to the medical school, you need to take the MCAT exam, and part of the MCAT exam is physics. So this has questions that are pertinent to the physics section of the MCAT as related to the chapter of that week. Chapter 2 problems and the conceptual questions are both PowerPoints. And then you have optional PowerPoint notes. And then chapter 1 and 2 homework are in the Mastering Physics area. So here, if you click on it, it will tell you that complete the assignment on the Mastering Physics. So you have to go to Mastering Physics and complete the assignment. And the bookstore on the first day of the class will send you an email that has the access code to the Mastering Physics. So make sure to use that access code to register in the Mastering Physics page. Also, the quiz is on Mastering Physics. For online classes, you'll have another folder titled Labs, and those will be the labs of the week that you need to submit online. In the case of the blended courses, we'll be meeting during the week to conduct labs on campus, and you will turn in the labs in campus as well as a hard copy. There is also the discussion area, which is here. You can click on the discussion up there. This will move you from content area to the discussion area. And here you can complete and submit discussion assignments. Also, there's the announcement area here, gradebook, and so on. But the main thing here is the content area. Now, if you go back to the Start Here area, the first link is the syllabus schedule, which is the course calendar and how to study. Click on it. Step 1 and 2 about the videos, and also completing the lab agreement. Step number 2 is about completing the lab agreement, and this is very important because without completing the lab agreement, you cannot attend the lab. So one of the first things you need to do is to go to week 1 and 2 and complete the lab agreement, and I have a video on how to complete this lab agreement. Also, in this folder in the Start Here area, under step 3, you can download the course schedule, which is the course calendar. It has all the assignments, and I'm going to go over it in details. Then you have the syllabus. Make sure you read it carefully. And then you have here a very important document about how to study for this course. And this will be part of the first discussion. And based upon reading those guidelines on how to study, you will tell us your study plan. Okay, now let's go to the course calendar document. I'll click on it to download it.
Okay, so we are now in the course schedule, as you see here. Make sure to start by reading those notes about the type of assignments that this course has and where you can find those assignments. I'll make sure to go over that in the video as well. The course schedule has 4 columns. The first column is the week that these assignments are going to be conducted at. The due date, unless otherwise stated, so that will be the due date of all the assignments in those particular weeks, unless otherwise stated, and also the reading of the 2 weeks. You can see actually the assignments are pertinent to 2 weeks, not 1 week. For example, week 1 and 2, the assignments are due by August 29th, unless otherwise stated. So you'll see that those 3 assignments are due Friday. The other 4 assignments here, number 4, 5, 6, and 7, you don't see a date, so you should know that the due date will be the one stated here. And again, this is depend on which semester you are in. So those dates will differ whether you are in spring, fall, or in a summer semester. Then also it will state the extra credit assignments, which will be on mastering physics. Notice here that those abbreviation, HW stands for homework, MP stands for mastering physics, BB stands for blackboard, and CH stands for chapter. So here when it says that the 2 dynamic study modules are in MP, this means in mastering physics area. You need to keep track with those assignments and make sure that you complete them on time. Now here, important statements about makeup policy, which is also stated in the syllabus in details. To put it briefly here, that there will be no makeup for the exams unless there is documented medical excuse. You don't have to include the reason, or you don't need to include the medical condition. I just need a paper from your medical provider that you had medical emergency and that caused you to miss the exam window. And remember, exam window is not just 1 or 2 days, it's usually 3 to 4 days. So you should have an excuse for the whole exam window. And now for the homework assignments, quizzes, discussion, and lab, you can make them up for 20% penalty per day. So for example, if the quiz is out of 20 points, if you take the quiz within 24 hours, it will be graded out of 16 instead of 20. If you take it between 24 hours and 48 hours late, it will be out of 13 points instead of 20 points, and so on. So 20% late penalty per day. Now, if there is emergency, you need to contact me ahead of time and let me know. Don't contact me after the fact. So don't email me after the deadline and tell me, well, I had an excuse and that's why I missed the test. Unless it's a medical excuse. If it's medical excuse that involve you or involve a direct member in your family, like a child, a son or a daughter, a spouse, and so on, and you have documentation. And again, as I mentioned, you don't have to reveal the medical condition. I just need documentation to be fair to all the students, because the policy has to be consistent and fairly applied on everyone. And you'll see that at the end of a 2-week cycle, you'll have an assessment. This assessment could be a quiz or exam. So at the end of week 2, you'll have a quiz that will cover chapters 1 and 2. There'll be 2 chapters every 2 weeks. And some chapters are longer than other chapters. So don't dedicate 1 week for particular chapter when it's short chapter. If it's short chapter, you need to do it faster. For example, in the first 2 weeks, we'll cover 2 chapters, chapter 1 and chapter 2. Chapter 1 is far shorter than chapter 2. So that's why the due date of the homework and the lab pertinent to chapter 1 is on Friday of the first week. So you should finish them within 5 days. And then you can give 9 days to complete the assignments pertinent to chapter 2 and take the quiz over chapter 1 and 2. So that's the reason I set it here on Friday. But usually in the first week, I'm lenient a little bit, like within 24 hours of the due date, and that's only applicable on the first week. If you are not able to finish the assignments on Friday and you need one extra day, like 24 hours to complete them, email me and let me know. And this is especially for those of you who enrolled late. So always refer to this document, make sure you look at it and plan ahead of time to take the quiz and the exams on their due date. And the window for the quiz and the exam, especially the exam, the window is short. I have most of the assignments available early, but for the exam, you have usually short window in order to maintain the integrity of the exam. The exams are proctored online. You don't have to come to campus. You can take the exam online, but you have to turn on your cam and use responders, lockdown responders, in order to record the exam. And the exams, you'll see actually in the syllabus that they are the high-stake assignments. They have a bigger weight than the quizzes or the homework. The quizzes and the homework have unlimited time, and even they have 2 attempts. You can submit the quiz more than once. You can submit the homework more than once. But for the exam, it's only 1 attempt at its time. So the quiz is supposed to prepare you for the exam, the homework, the labs, and the discussion. All those assignments are supposed to prepare you for the high-stake exams. And we have 4 exams total. We have exam at the end of week 4. We have exam at the end of week 8. And we have exam at the end of week 12. And then the final exam will be on the last week of the class. And the final exam will be comprehensive, but you will have a review that will prepare you well for the final exam.
Now, if you are in a blended course, the labs will be on campus, and this is how the course calendar or the course schedule will look like. So again, also make sure to read the notes. You'll have details about the lab meetings each week. Most of the labs are on campus. There are a few labs that will be conducted online, and there will be review sessions for the 3 exams on campus during the lab meetings. Also, for blended courses, you'll see a module titled Lab Supplement. If you click on it, it will have the lab manual that has all the labs on campus and some templates, especially graph templates for some of the labs. All right, I hope you found this video educational. Let me know if you have questions. Thank you.